Hello, you. It's me. And I have gotten this image from Heknikana, who's, I guess, an up and coming Amber person, commentator. And I like some of his stuff. I think it's pretty good. Anyway, this is from the video Amber campaign against Beck continues. Members Live 10. And of course, this is from her Members Live, Members Only Live. I'm surprised anyone's watching it, but good for them if they want to. I did not see the whole thing because I won't pay for it, but after hearing Salty Crab's rundown and a little bit of Heknikana as well, there's this moment in it where she's talking about how the no diet isn't working, and she's going to go on like a real diet right now, because if she doesn't, she may only have a few years left to live, and she keeps going on about this. And of course, this is something that she has repeated time and time again. Well, if I don't do something now, I may not live very long, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she actually believes that, though, because she still thinks that it could be years. When what she doesn't understand is the damage that has been done to her body over her entire life. That damage, even if she lost weight, that damage could still be permanent. That damage could be something that she can't fix. And she may not have a couple years. She may not have a couple minutes. And it just shocks me at how she's so flippant about it. Like, she doesn't care. It doesn't. There was another video where she was talking about, she may not reach 70. She'd get up into her 50s and 60s, but may not go beyond that. But what she doesn't understand is she, again, with all the damage that she has done to her body, she might not go beyond tomorrow. And it reminds me of this story. This happened, I guess, quite some time ago. It was a young woman who was 29 years old, and she was at least 200 pounds less than Amber. I think she was probably about 300 or so. And she went on to, I don't know what was popular at the time. It could have been Twitter. I can't remember. I just remember seeing the video, and she's saying, I'm 29 years old. This is me. This is how much I weigh. And today is the day that I'm going to start, working out, eating healthy, and take it very seriously. And unfortunately, the day after, she passed away. And this is what people are trying to tell Amber Lynn Reid. This is what they've been trying to tell her for a long time. When you take care of yourself and you eat healthy and you work out regularly, you can still die very quickly. But you have a better chance of living a long life if you take care of yourself. Amber, I don't think, has ever taken care of herself. Just the fact that she has not just the weight, but the hygiene issues, and that is also not good. That can also permanently damage your body. She obviously doesn't eat healthy. And the fact remains, She thinks she still has some years left. She may not. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer here or anything, but I guess I don't think I'm going to die tomorrow. I'm fairly healthy. I keep myself, fairly healthy. I eat healthy. I exercise every day or nearly every day. And, at least I'm trying. I put forth effort. I've got a fuck ton of vitamins. And I've actually kind of leaned away from the vitamins for a little bit because I was getting pretty carried away, like taking like 10, 15 a day. And I realized, maybe I need to whoa that for a minute and let my body readjust itself and then see what it is I really need. Because that's an excessive amount, in my opinion. It was a little too much. It got to the point where I was starting to feel nauseous after taking all the pills, all the vitamins. And I thought, well, maybe I don't need all these things. Maybe I need to, sit back and take it a little slower and not just grab a bunch of vitamins because some documentary said that I might need this, or some thing I read somewhere says I need that as an older woman. Not to not take those things into consideration, but I can just eat healthy and get a very similar result than downing a bunch of vitamins. So that was my point on that. But none of us really know how much time we have left on this earth. And it just surprises me that Amber is still repeating the same thing over and over again. I know I'm morbidly obese, and I know I could only have a few years left, so I'm taking it seriously now. But you've been saying that for like 10, 11 years. I mean, come on. At least 10 years online, It doesn't mean anything unless you do it. And your body isn't going to get any better unless you do something about it. And the fact is, you do nothing about it. You talk and talk and talk, but anybody who's watched Amberlynn breed for any length of time will know she goes through a cycle. She gets excited about something, she starts it, she does it for a day, a week, and then she quits. And what she's doing is quitting on her own body. She's not taking care of it. She's just going to get sicker and sicker. And sometimes the sicknesses that we get aren't obvious. Sometimes they don't have clear signs like she did with her cancer scare. I'm just going to call it a cancer scare. She had clear signs for 2.5 years that something was wrong. And then she finally addressed it. The problem is that not all sicknesses are visible in that way. You don't always see symptoms until it's too late. And Amber is definitely a person who doesn't want to acknowledge something's wrong. And hey, I get that. We all get scared about things like that. Like, ooh, this doesn't feel right. But what if it's something really bad? The thing is Amber does that. I don't know why she does that, because she has people in her life. I mean, she still has her mother and her grandmother and their boyfriends, whatever. She still has people in her life that are willing to help her in a case of an emergency. The problem is that she might wait too long. And death is a scary subject for everybody. Nobody likes to talk about it. Nobody likes to acknowledge it. But there's something worse than death. And that is laying in a bed, miserable, probably with oxygen, hurting, and living that way. not able to get up, not able to move around. The only thing that can be done is to lay there and just watch the world go by. And she could get to that point. You know, whether it's a heart attack or she has a stroke. Those things can happen at any time. They happen with healthy people, not just people like herself who are physically showing signs of illness already. She really doesn't seem to understand that. I don't know if she has the capacity to understand that. I don't know if she cares enough to try to understand it. But the fact is, her saying, I'm going to take it slow and I'm going to do it, blah, blah, blah. It's too late for that. You can't take it slow. The Ingalls mentions that all the time. And I'm not saying, she's going to die tomorrow, or next year, or in the next 10 years. We don't know. But what we do know when we see Amberlynn Reid is that she is ill. She doesn't look healthy. She can't move around. And there could come a time where she's going to end up bedridden, not because of the weight, but because of the illnesses that she has gained through not taking care of herself. And it makes me a little bit sad because she really, really doesn't understand that it could be tomorrow. It could be a week from now. And she doesn't think ahead to the idea of what's going to happen with Usabi, what's going to happen with Twinkie. Who's going to take care of them if she's gone? She took care of the rest of the animals in her life, in not nice ways. But, if she is gone tomorrow, who's going to take care of them? How long will it take to discover that she is gone? How long will she be passed away before anyone finds her? She doesn't think of any of these things. She doesn't think ahead to anything. She thinks she's got a good 20, 30 years left. And she might. But with her looking so unhealthy, especially around the eyes, they look quite dark. And she wears a choker all the time, but so it's hard to tell. Plus, you can't see her neck very well. But I wonder if there's a ring around that neck. And I'm not talking about from the choker. I'm talking about a darkness that you get, like with diabetes. I can't really tell. I don't know. I can't tell the signs. And that's another thing with the weight that she has on her body. It could also hide some of the signs of illness that she's suffering from that she doesn't even realize. And she should be terrified. I know if I were in her position, I would be terrified, and I would be doing everything that I need to do, including inpatient care, to help myself to get healthy so I can live a longer life, so I can enjoy it, even if it's doing her Legos, even if it's just writing in a new journal. She won't have the ability to experience that if she doesn't take care of herself. How do you tell somebody who just doesn't have the ability to understand that? How do you tell them how serious it is? She doesn't seem to understand how serious and dire her situation is right now. One wrong move, one wrong slip, one wrong bite full of something, one wrong drink. She could take a tumble, she could fall, she could get ill real easily. Especially in her current state she's even more susceptible than somebody who was healthier. She's left herself open to disease. And she doesn't seem to care. And it just, I don't like Amberlynn as a person. I think she's a terrible person. I think the things that she is trying to do with Beck and Beck's fiance, Dakota, is it? I'm not really sure, but just smearing their names, smearing Destiny. She did a lot of terrible, terrible things, especially to Beck. And Amber's trying so desperately to cover that up, because I don't think she ever thought Beck would talk about it. And now Beck is. Good for Beck. Amber needs to, in my opinion, she needs to do whatever it takes to get healthy. She says, she doesn't really have the money to do all that inpatient stuff. But if I were in Amber's position, which would it rather be? You stay where you're at and maybe you're gone tomorrow, or you actually try to help yourself to get healthy, and maybe you live a little bit longer. Maybe you live a lot longer. I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to say whether the damage she has caused to her body is permanent or not. Some people, when they lose weight and eat healthy and exercise, do all the right things, can really extend their life. They can heal a lot of what was sick in their body. Some people can't. No matter what they do, they're still sick, and they're permanently sick, and they will stay sick until they pass on. Amber doesn't even know where she stands in that. And she can get on here and be smug. I feel fine. Get on here, be smug about it. But I remember, for example, my grandmother. She had had a heart attack in her 60s and had a triple bypass, I believe. And she lived another 10 years until she was I guess she was 71. And she felt fine that day. She did all her morning chores. She went to go visit a sick friend who had just come out of the hospital and brought her some food, because that's what people used to do. And so she brought food to the friend. They visited, had a very nice time. She left her friend, got into her car, and died in the driveway. Just like that. She had a wonderful day, finished everything she wanted to do that day, and then just died. That was it. There was no warning. It just happened suddenly, and she was gone. This happens to people all the time. If you're already ill, it can happen more easily. And that's what people have been trying to tell Amber for a long time. And I don't think she'll ever listen. I think it's incredibly sad. But honestly, that's all I got to say.